So I've never seen her before. This is Magic. That's the name of the channel. I'm very interested to see who this is, learn more about her. The Chronically Online will become a new underclass. I will say, okay, we're gonna watch this video. Apparently, according to the comment section, she recorded this like on tape and then uploaded it to YouTube. So check the aesthetic out. But also a little confused on the title because aren't the Chronically Online already the underclass? Did something change and nobody told me? So very curious. I'm very excited. Let's watch it.
I'm actually going to take some time to talk about the digital pollution theory. This is an idea that I've been, I guess, being planted seeds for about half a decade, but in May 2025, I was able to get my thoughts together in a cohesive way. So basically, the reason why I'm making this is because I made a TikTok series telling people everything I'm about to tell you right now. I just wanted to make it fit for YouTube. So I have my notes here. They're not really notes. It's more so quite literally a script. And I'm just going to be reading from that while adding my own anecdotes. And I have my notes here. But like I said, I'm on tape. I'm doing this real old school. So I have to get into this because I don't want to run a tape and stop the video for you guys. So here we go. So I've been subconsciously gathering information about this for years, and I finally feel like I'm in a good place to describe what I have called the digital pollution theory. I'm going to put the actual things. I'm not going to read them word for word, but I have them.
The digital pollution theory: social media is a place distinct from the physical world, but still an environment we inhabit that impacts how we communicate and live. 2, this place is currently being contaminated with pollutants that negatively impact and exploit aspects of our daily life and human nature. 3, the only real solution is abandonment unless full collective investment exists, which won't. 4, the future of contaminated digital environment is one where privilege determines who gets to log off. Okay. Human beings do this thing, and I'll just say it right now. We go through cycles. And again, I warn you about this desire to be offline. Because again, as a person who is online and loves the internet, it has never been cool to be online. I've never stopped hearing it from the people in my life. Your job isn't real. Your life online isn't real. Real life isn't online. I don't know anyone who is online like me and doesn't already get flack for it. You know what I mean? So it is really interesting. But also, I don't know, like I'm already feeling a little apprehensive about the concept already, but okay. And I do caution people from this idea that like, oh, rich and privileged people will be like, oh, being offline is the real thing. Being offline has always been the real thing. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And like the real thing is on the internet. But let me tell you this, just like rich people, when poor people could afford logos, they were like, no more logos. Now subtle wealth. Now wealth you can't tell is wealthy because no logos. Guys, it's just kids, and like adulthood is just high school kids with money. It's just high school with money. So I'm just asking you, like, do you want to still be in high school or you want to do something else with your life? Because a lot of these people are just building statuses. They're just saying, I'm not online anymore. But like, that was always a status symbol. Not being online was always a status symbol. Or not being offline. Sorry, not being, but not being online was always a status symbol. And I'm just saying, like, I don't believe in the status symbol, but okay. I refuse to engage with it as a status symbol, but you keep doing it if you want to.
Right here. Y'all take a look, pause. Okay. So the digital pollution theory is a theory that treats social media like a place, an environment that we inhabit solely when we are logged on, even if it's not physical. Let me make my thing right. Okay. Some people don't believe that social media is a place because of how interwoven it is in our daily life, but I believe that social media is still a place, yet it is one totally separate from the reality that we live. It is a reflection of society, but social media does not sit in the same reality we experience.
Also, can we define social media? Because every time we have this conversation, like my online spaces are real communities. They are real places people go. Like people have real relationships there. Heck, people get married through this space. But like at the end of the day, like this is just a space, like Walmart is a space, like the library is a space. This is like a library or a coffee shop. So like, what do we mean by social media? What counts as social media? Because I just get really confused about that word. To me, all the internet is social media. If you're on the internet, you're on social media. Like if you're on a website where there's a comment section, social media. You know what I mean?
Experience in the real world. Okay. That's the big point. You lived real world. So I first realized this as a DJ. I've been a DJ for 10 years, and the main thing that I've seen across all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Vine, I wasn't DJing Vine, but kind of the same idea. A lot of people would criticize DJs, be like, oh, y'all playing the same music over and over again, are playing the same overplayed songs. But when you actually get behind a DJ turntable set and you're playing for people, it's those overplayed songs that people on the internet said they're so sick of hearing that evoke the most energetic emotions out of people every night. For example, they say, we're tired of hearing Can We Talk, but Can We Talk is a really great record that gets a really great reaction every time. And there are many examples about songs like that. It's not what I'm here to talk about, but that's when I first...
Like, people used to say, like, I can't believe people watch streams. And to be honest, I never watched streams before until I realized streams are like radio shows. And I was like, oh, why aren't I watching streams? Because I loved the radio growing up. I used to call into radio shows. I would love learning who the DJs were. I would love when they do like contests and call-in shows. And like, that's when I realized streaming was like a radio show. I was like, I should stream. So Chad asked me, what do I envision like this stream is like? I think this stream is like a club you belong to in high school, only it's like maybe a better version is more like a entertainment club, like a comedy club, almost like a place where there's a stage and there's obviously the entertainers, and a place where there's an audience. But what good is a comedy club without its audience? Like, what good is a streamer without an audience? So like, yes, we need each other to make it work, but also the reason people show up is for the entertainment. So heck, I better be entertaining, you know? So it's like, this is what I imagine it as. Now, my Discord is a little different. Discord feels like a place where like I am not necessarily required to be there. Like my Discord is so poppin' sometimes. I don't even keep up with the threads. Like I don't even keep up with everything happening there because I literally can't. But it's nice. It's like a little, like a store, like a cafe, like a coffee shop I created. And I show up, I'm like, hey girls. And sometimes I'm working and sometimes like the shop can run itself. And then sometimes I get pinged, like Brittany, show up, something's going on in the Discord. And I'm like, I'm here. So like my Discord feels much more like a community, much more like a cafe, much more, but the stream, it feels like the stream can't exist unless I'm here in a big way. You know, not that my Discord would technically exist if I didn't exist, but something like that, you know, something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Saw that there's just something different about the experience that we live in versus the experience that we may observe on the internet. So now more than ever, I'm starting to believe that the once liberating space of social media, that once fostered community, is now deteriorating. Social media just feels so much more unsafe than it did 10 to 20 years ago. I feel like this space is no longer a normal place to live for an extended period of time.
Pause there, right there. Like, social media is no longer a safe space. I don't know when it was ever a safe space. The only thing that's radically changed about social media is now you can't post without us figuring out who you are, which, yes, it's a level of unsafety, but also the reason it was such a wild, wild west before is because like Ethan could make a fake pedo bear account and go troll people about incest and pedophilia. Like, now we know who it is. So like, is that the way it doesn't feel safe? Because even if you say like, oh, it doesn't feel safe, people can find you and stalk you. I mean, people are doing that in real life too. Do you know what I mean? Or also, when I was a younger person, a lot of very inappropriate things happened to me because of adults on social media. So like, I don't know, girl, age, sex, location, Yahoo pool, AOL chats. You know what I mean? So the idea that the internet or real life, like, it's all the same. The internet can be just as dangerous as real life. Real life can be just as dangerous as the internet. It's just another space. To me, it's all the same. It's just like a different, now my job is different. I log off my job, but I don't log off the internet. So it's an interesting idea, these conversations, but let's hear her out because I keep pausing.
Personally, especially with what I've been dealing with this year, social media is truly unbearable. It really is. So if we're going back to the idea that the internet is a place, I think the digital environment that we live in today is horribly polluted. Okay.
But also the digital environment is so full of pockets. Guys, I come across YouTubers all the time with 20 million subscribers I've never heard of. You're using the internet wrong if you think it's one place. That's like saying Europe is one country. That's like saying America is one state. You're doing it wrong. I'm sorry. With peace and love, you're doing it wrong.
We're viewing it as an environment, a land. It is possible for that land, that environment, to be polluted. So here are just some examples of said pollutants in this digital environment. and I'm going to put that on my screen here. Number 1, echo chambers, vitriolic mindsets on both ends of the political spectrum. They are pollutants because they erode our empathy and eliminate the possibility of true dialogue, especially if you are deeply entrenched on either side.
She wrote echo chambers on the screen for those just listening.
And this is not just political. It can just exist on any axis. Some people disagree that it's not possible to have echo chambers on each side, but that's just my opinion. Okay. Another pollutant.
Each side of what? What side? Who are the two? What's the dichotomy she's using? What sides?
The big one, anxiety, by fostering constant comparison and fear of missing out. This creates a persistent fear that you're missing out or not doing enough, leading to stress and dissatisfaction with your own life and maybe even identity distortion. Another pollutant, cycles of overconsumption. Platforms manipulate users' identity to drive endless purchasing disguised as self-expression and wealth signaling. So example, you may not need the Sony G7X to take a good photo, and you don't need to look rich by flashing whatever item is popular on TikTok at the moment. Next pollutant, cultural extraction and hyper visibility. This one's a little bit complicated, but in brief, it is niche, local, or marginalized cultural spaces are mined for content and engagement, often stripping them of context, nuance, or accessibility. There is a really great video on YouTube about the matcha phenomenon and how that is essentially cultural extraction. And I think she does a much better job of describing what exactly I mean when talking about these things.
Going off script here, the beauty and the fugliness of TikTok to me is its power to show a lot of people things. While also its power to overexpose. So you can examine this with the matcha trend, which is why I should really watch the video. She dives deep into it. It has extreme cultural significance in Asian cultures, and yet it's been commodified, and now they're selling matcha gel in a toothpaste.
That's not the internet. That's capitalism. Right? Why are you blaming the internet for that? That's capitalism. You think that shit didn't happen before the internet? That's what I'm saying. Nothing is unique to the internet. It's not the internet. It's not the online communities. These things existed outside of that.
Can.
With peace and love.
Or also if you ask somebody off the street, what's Gen Z slang? And it's ballroom slang from Black.
Chet said it accelerates it though. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I don't think that's what it matters though. Right? Like, I think that's the problem. It's like, before we had internet algorithms, we had TV algorithms. We had TV commercials and info commercials. We had addictive info commercials that people would get suckered into buying things on the phone all the time. Their house looked like a hoarderville, and your grandma would lose her retirement to these TV shows. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's more insidious and yes, it's more exploitative, but it's not different. It's not different. It's just, that's why I'm trying to say, like, if we understand everything is the same always, then we will be able to actually tackle problems. But if we keep saying like, oh, things are different now, they're not different. They're the same. But, okay, like we've always had problems. It just looks different. They're just adapting. They're just adapting. The question is, what are you going to do? If they're adapting, what are you going to do? And then what is it going to look like? Because you know what I mean? Like the same tool that subjugated some other person might be a form of liberation for others, i.e. the internet. But again, it's like, that's what they're exploiting. That's how they're exploiting you. That's how conservatives exploited people. It's the internet. It's the algorithms. Don't trust these Democrats' social media. I'm Elon Musk. I save Twitter. He used the same logic. That's conservative logic. Conservatives use the same talking points to convince you to get off the internet and not to use it, or to convince you the internet's an evil place, even though the internet is where they radicalize people. Even though the internet is literally where people could have found liberation or brainwashing. And that, you know what I'm saying? Like the same queer kids and trans kids who need the internet to find community have to share space, but not necessarily ever see these conservatives. Just because conservatives were better at weaponizing the internet doesn't mean it's the internet. The internet as a function is the problem. Okay? So I am concerned as like a neurodivergent kid who the internet was so important for her. I do get concerned for those kids where I'm like, where are those kids going to go? Where are those kids going to go? Explain it to me.
Communities, you know? So for those both examples, they both have extreme cultural significance, cultural context, cultural history within communities, and then that's often erased after it's been overexposed. And it's often overexposed to feed an algorithm or to feed engagement. And I think TikTok is really good for that. But yeah, I just wanted to take some time to explain that a little bit better. Y'all should watch that video that I mentioned. It's really good.
Also, I do think there's like multiple categories of people who use the internet. Entertainment seekers, which is fine. Education seekers, which is fine. Like tutorials, community, all of it is fine. But like, you can use it to your benefit. Like when people always ask me, Brittany, how do you know all these recipes? How do you get your ideas? TikTok. I go to TikTok and I go vegan recipes. TikTok, vegan pasta. TikTok. Okay? Like, that's where I get my ideas. Like, they're not coming from me. They're coming from this thing that, so when one person goes, TikTok is horrible, XYZ, I go, yes, but you can use it. Like, I understand when I'm on Instagram, sometimes I'm like, ooh, this is triggering. Ooh, this is making me want to starve myself. Okay, I got to change my algorithm. So I see things that are not triggering that, like, oh, negative self, like, image feelings, right? I get it. And then I go to and I switch it up. Okay, I go, DBZ memes, anime memes. Boom, algorithm changed. You have so much more power in the world than you think, but also all of those weaknesses you have is what's being exploited. Because human beings are the same forever. If you find the right, like, if you know Disneyland, this was always my favorite fun fact about Disney, and it's so true because I used to be a pass holder. Disney would make fans and get the air to smell like food to make you more hungry to buy food. And this is why I say, like, not like a capitalist or not like a conservative would say, it's your job not to fall for it. It's within your power to go, oh, I see you, Disney, joke's on you, I packed a lunch. People would think it was so funny and they would call me poor for going through Taco Bell and stuffing my purse full of tacos before going to Disneyland. And then I would say to them, aren't you in like $30,000 of debt from Disney while I am enjoying my tacos at Disney? See, like, you think I'm a loser for eating tacos at Disney, and I think you're a loser for falling for their bullshit and buying food that's, first of all, overrated for the most part. There's some good restaurants at Disney. Most of it's overrated cafeteria food. And second of all, you're the one who's going into thousands of dollars in debt to just show up and look cool at Disney. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, like, when you're ready and you're able to, you can have the other relationship. Also, I just learned, you know how in stream I always say it's not your coffee once a day that's making you go broke. It's your coffee 3 times a day. I just found out that the average drink is $8 at Starbucks. That's like a few $1,000s a year to get coffee once a day. Girls, we got to stop that habit. If I had an extra $3K a year, you know what I'm saying? Like, my $6 bag of coffee, I think it's €7 total, lasts me a week. A week. I did not know. I have not been in a Starbucks in a long time. I did not know it was $8. Like, what? I did not know that. That's crazy. Okay, I did not know people were paying $8 at Starbucks for anything. I mean, I thought in my head I knew because you were getting like fancy stuff. I didn't know like basic ass drinks are $8. I'm so sorry. I need to touch grass more. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. That's crazy. That's insane. Okay. But you do you. You know what I mean? It's not the reason you don't own a house, but it might be the reason you're still in credit card debt. You know? Right?
But overall, culture of marginalized communities get mined for content and engagement, but then lose their nuance and their meaning. Heated debates about these cultures often overshadow the real lived experiences of these communities. Meanwhile, content creators capitalize on these moments to boost their own visibility, turning cultural conversations into personal promotion, manipulating these conversations to sell products, to sell themselves, or to sell their skills. This cycle, for some, extracts value from communities without giving back. Cultural extraction. Okay, that was a big one. Let's move on. Next pollutant, addiction. The design of these apps keep you scrolling, fosters compulsive use, reducing time for genuine connection and rest, while also increasing stress. And finally, you guys, the big kahuna, rage bait. Mm-hmm. High engagement, no matter the context, indicates quality and relevance to an algorithm. So when users interact with something, it signals to the algorithm that the content is valuable and is then shown to a wider audience. So there's more direct, aggressive rage bait than I'm sure we've seen. 20 liberals against outsmart one conservative, or 10 Christians versus 10 atheists. Y'all seen it. And I think there's a new kind of rage bait that's getting popular on TikTok. Say there's someone making a video walking through a neighborhood in New York or casually sharing a controversial opinion about whatever, but the context behind those same posts hit deep topics like cultural erasure, sexism, racism, homophobia, etc. Essentially, what comes out of that is a trap where people are compelled to respond, explain, defend themselves, or argue with other people, thus creating endless loops of unproductive conversations that look on the surface like dialogue and conversation.
Okay, I'm going to say something controversial. I think these videos are the same. I think making content about being offline and how the internet's a bad place is actually just another version of rage bait, because you're on the internet posting it. Get off the internet, touch grass, stop being obsessed with social media. Let me post this as social media. Like, it just feels like the same to me a little bit. Because now I'm reacting to this because I think the concept is funny, but I wouldn't be reacting to this. Do you know what I'm saying?
but are really just cycles of stress and outrage. So both of these things trigger engagement cycles. And what's the end result of this cycle, y'all? More attention given to the social media and more money given to the social media company. So those are the pollutants I have: echo chambers, anxiety, overconsumption, cultural extraction, addiction, and rage bait. Okay. These are just some of the pollutants.
And by the way, I think all of these problems are real, but I still think the solution is philosophical work, introspection, extrospection. So I agree, all of these problems are real. I just don't think the internet, the billionaires, this thing, all of these things are symptoms of philosophical evil and a lack of philosophical joy, including the billionaires, because they are obviously philosophically evil, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to exploit you, because like no person who's joyful spends time exploiting billions of people for funsies and for money. Okay, this is why they say like money is the root of all evil. But the truth is like, it's not money as a tool. It is your desire for money and money alone at the expense of everybody else that is the evil.
Digital airspace. So overall, the overarching metaphor, I think, is that the right word? Comparison. Let's just do that. With this theory is the idea of land. So I decided to compare social media to the physical land environment because it reminds me of how industrial capitalism in the US exploited land and marginalized communities. So in the early 1900s, polluting industries were built near Black neighborhoods to access cheap land, cheap labor, and because racist zoning laws left Black communities with no choice but to live near hazardous sites. This resulted in the exploitation of their labor and their land and caused direct harm to their health as a result. So, for example, a lot of Black and brown youth in Los Angeles have suffered from reduced lung function due to prolonged exposure to industrial pollution in their neighborhoods. So,
housing, like they talked about this with that how houses were made, black mold, lead in pipes, like all of these things that you don't think about. It really is represented so perfectly through One Piece, but that's a whole other conversation. But like, yeah, different neighborhoods get different quality of life, which is why like you don't realize how good you grew up until you like realize how bad other people grew up and you're like, what the fuck? And then you should say as a result that the system needs to do something about that because that's bullshit. Instead, people say, oh, well, those people put themselves there. They didn't put themselves there. They were put there. And that's what's so insidious about the system is the system. See, even with the social media stuff, like, oh, it's the internet. Guys, the internet has been one of the greatest tools for like liberation movements. It has helped so many people communicate. It's not good to convince us not to use other forms of communication. Like them convincing us to stop communicating, that's like them saying, guys, the phone is really bad for you. It causes cancer if you hold it up to your phone or your head, which, you know, or like they'll say like, oh, newspapers, don't read newspapers. It's like you're just eliminating one way to get information. And I'm saying, just like when you go into a library, not every book there is valuable in the same way. Just like when you go to the internet, not every channel is as valuable. Not every person is contributing the same way. It's like, but it is still a method of communication. This is why you don't want to ban books, even bad books. You don't want to ban the internet. Even though the internet is a place where bad things happen, I think the internet is a place where people get exposed. Look, I really believed at one point in my life, similar to those people that like, oh man, the internet is not influencing adults, it's influencing children who become adults. But without the internet, it's also their family members, it's their communities, it's their schools, it's movies, it's media, it's who the celebrities are, it's their parents, right? So like all of this to say, like, again, I really agree that there's a problem. I just really disagree with who we're pointing the finger at. And again, philosophically, I would say you should point the finger this way. Because the better relationship you have with this, the better relationship you have with this. And if everybody, and it's not doing it alone, because we still need community, we can't do it by ourselves, but that's the point. How can our community heal if we're not first setting the path?
remember that. Pollutants exploiting labor and land, causing direct harm to whoever it reaches. So this connection leads us back to what I believe is digital capitalism. Now, I think further I go in my theory, this might be more so techno-feudalism, but I'm going to be honest, I have not read that book yet. I'm so excited to read my book, but I didn't want to read that book before I made this video because I wanted to put this video in 2025. So there's probably some pieces that are techno-feudalism, but I just call it digital capitalism. So digital capitalism, where similar patterns of exploitation are present, just not in the physical world. So going back to the pollutants.
And also, I think Chet said something. Chet says, I feel like with so many other things, we can't assume kids or people will just learn by example. We need to teach kids to use this tool successfully and safely. And like, our parents are falling for scams. Old people are falling for scams all the time. I don't know why we think like Not kids are targeted because they're the most vulnerable, but like the adults are the reflection of that targeting. But the targeting is just other humans who want to take advantage of you. And that's not just billionaires and elitists. That's everybody. That's people in your neighborhood. It's people in your school. It's people, because again, we are animals on a planet evolved over, billions of years. And so we're having like a disconnect, like a lack of relationship with. And so it feels like really just reductive to be like, it's the internet, it's books, it's everything. It's us though. It's really us as a species, as a people,
Each pollutant exploits something about our daily lives and our nature. So in this world of digital capitalism, echo chambers exploit our capacity for empathy, our relationships. Anxiety exploits our mental health, our sense of self. Overconsumption exploits our identity, our insecurities, and basically all the money that we earn. Extraction exploits certain cultures, communities, and their creativity. Addiction exploits our time and attention. Rage bait exploits our emotional labor. And all of these things that are being exploited by us are for profit. Okay, this is how social media companies make money, and this is also how creators gain financial rewards in digital social capital. So the more content taps into either something enraging or outrage or aspiration, the more it spreads. Platforms reward this cycle, and creators are incentivized with either money, fame, or just opportunity to continue to feed those cycles. So in the world that we know, the physical world.
Yeah, but I think in some way, like how you engage on the internet is also how you engage in your job. Like this also applies to people in regular jobs. This isn't unique to the internet. Newspapers have been doing this forever. Articles have been doing this forever. TV has been doing this forever. Social groups have been doing this forever. Again, it's not unique to the internet. It's us,
Industrial capitalism poison land and harm communities in pursuit of profit. Today on the internet,
and it says something about those YouTubers who would even do it in the first place. Yeah, guys, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table by choice. That's what I'm saying. We want to live in a world where the world is a reflection of us and the world is so good. Look at human beings. But in order to make it in the world, you have to exploit other people. And that's why I say the myth that they're setting to us is what making it looks like. And that's what you keep buying into, right? That's why you're getting the brand new cars and the brand new phones. And you're trying to actually, to be honest with you, no, that's a whole tangent. I won't go into that. Oof. But this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying go crazy, into the forest, off grid, no vaccines, but also don't go crazy where you're consume everything, consume everything. What is that old saying? Balance. Where is your sense of balance?
Capitalism poisons our relationships to each other, our attention spans, our mental health, our sense of self, our labor, our sense of empathy. It harms our communities and leaves us behind with burnout, misinformation, cultural.
Exactly, chat. Exactly. Christians in their satanic panic while the pastor rapes children in their congregation. You guys are so worried about the internet. Well, there's predators at your dinner table. Please focus. It's not the internet. It's you.
Erosion, loss of empathy, loneliness, anxiety, depression. I could go on forever. And this exploitation is for profit. And this is not just happening in the physical anymore. And it's killing us digitally. So that's mostly, that's points 1 and 2. Okay. And I hate when people talk about the doom and the gloom and the darkness of the world without providing something that we can do to feel like we're in control of this.
Okay,
nonsense.
Let's go.
So we're going to go into point 3, which is the only real solution is abandonment, I guess, unless collective investment exists, which won't. I guess that's kind of doom and gloom. I don't care because I actually have solutions for you guys. How about that? So where is it? I believe that the internet can be an enjoyable experience. Maybe this is my May script. In my December script, I'm not sure. We just can no longer allow the extraction to take place for the monetary benefit of social media companies and for the social benefit of content creators who are seeking fame off of our engagement, whether we're outraged by it or whether we aspire to be it, and money themselves. So I'm personally working on this a lot in 2025. I have a long way to go, but I have come so far in the past year. I mentioned earlier that I just don't think that the environment in our digital space is safe enough for quick fixes. I don't believe in taking your screen time from TikTok to Substack. I don't believe in curating your feed or being on less stressful social media sites like a Substack or for some people a Reddit. I think that pollutants are so pervasive, the only tangible solution is to completely abandon them. And there are 2 exceptions, mutual investment and accessibility, but I'll dive into those a little later. So we're going to go pollutant by pollutant, and I'll provide my potential solution. So echo chambers, as you know, they exploit our relationships and our capacity for empathy. So we all know, and I'll add in anxiety too. We all know the solution to this one. Reduce your screen time. You don't need a phone locker, an app, a shortcut, line graphs. You only reduce your screen time by participating in your lived experience. Find something every day out in the world that you can do to bring your version of happiness into your life. For me personally, I like to treat every day like a Saturday. I have phone-free times throughout the day. I do not look at my phone in the morning. And just whatever it is to pull you into your lived experience, not your digital.
Oh my God. I don't know who this is for, but it's not for us. That's what I'm saying. This is not for us. It's not for us. Okay? Like this whole like go outside and touch grass. Build genuine relationships with people, whatever that means. Okay? I don't know who this is for, but it's for somebody and those people need this kind of content and it's fine. But I just don't think it's for all of us. And I think that that's the point too. Look, again, I don't mean to sound like, oh my God, we're so much cooler, but there is something really unique about this audience that I have here. I really think so. I really think I might have brought together at this stage in my life some of the most interesting chatters, the most interesting community who like is genuinely trying to understand their place in the universe and who is trying not to rule on fear or make decisions because we're afraid. You know what I mean? Like we are living in one of the greatest opportunities for minorities ever in terms of like accessibility and like resources. And you are trying to like talk about how this thing is ruining our lives. I'm so sorry that you don't know how to use it. But like, also I get it because like, you're probably not doing the philosophical work as well. And so like, I don't know about you, but like, you know, this whole like, okay, I'll give an example. So it's like, okay, my job is on the internet. And even if it wasn't, I already lived my life off the internet. I was already a millennial. I already did it. And I'm telling you right now, it is not that simple. Because like the uniqueness of connection with people is predicated on the uniqueness of the consciousness. The uniqueness of the consciousness is sometimes in a different country. And so if I can collect a group of my friends who live in completely different places and on occasion we physically see each other, but mostly we can't because we live in different fucking places, that comes true because of the internet. And that's the reality. The reality is like, my partner was in a different country. Half my friends live in a different country. All of my friends live in a different country, right? I moved. I live in a different country. But like the people in my life don't live in the same place. And even when I lived in America, all my friends lived in different states. It was because of the internet we stay in touch. And like you're saying, oh, go outside and meet people in your local community. I've already done that 1,000 times. That's a great opportunity to have very casual, very superficial, very lovely friends. But I am too autistic and too unique caveat, too nerdy, too specific, to just be out here making friends with you know what I'm saying? You can't just be out here telling people you're autistic, BPD, kinky, you know, anime free. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just be out here being casual about some of these things. So you have to go to the internet, and the internet creates offline opportunities to meet those people. But most of the time, this is also pretty good. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just kind of funny, like the way we think about the internet. Also, like, what about reading books? What about like audiobooks? What about music? Like, what about all of the ways we like get opportunities to see great pieces of art? Like, what about the connection that I use? I use the internet to watch shows with my partner. We go to the movies. Like, even when you have in real life friends, which is so valuable and you should have that, we go to do something together. That thing you do together could be the internet, gaming all in the same room together, or video games at home together. Or it's like, it's the thing. Internet is the thing, you know? But ultimately, and I think this is the problem, is like, I really think this proves so much the work that I think I'm doing, even though I know it's not like mind blowing, like whoa, you know, but I think this is exactly it. How can I have a relationship with this thing and your relationship thing is this? This sounds like nudity to me. Where like some people are like, oh, nudity is so sexual. It's always sexual. And I'm like, it's literally not. They're like, it's always sexual, Brittany. And I'm like, no, it's not. But how would they know nudity isn't inherently sexual or obviously sexual or always sexual if they don't have the experience? And so what I did is I deconstructed away from purity culture and moved into all these niche bubbles. I was like, oh, I knew it. It was real. But if you're not doing that work, and yes, it's on a small scale, but the point is that it works. And the fact that the small scale that's working isn't what you're latching onto is the problem. All you're latching onto is the fact that it's not working. But as people who like, and maybe this is my science brain, but like, if it works, that means we have to go harder into the thing that works, not further away from it because it's not working for most people. yeah, most people aren't going to have you know what I mean? I don't know. Chat says you said something the other day when are we going to take responsibility for how we consume our media? Well, and without blaming yourself as well. When I say responsibility, I mean like when you're ready, you will start saving. Guys, I'm not exaggerating to you. It took me all of my life to change my relationship with money. I didn't make much more money, though I did have to make more money. You do have to make more money. You can't save your way out of poverty or save your way into buying a house. You do have to make more money. But I did make that much more money. It took a very small pay bump for me to be like, okay, small in relative terms, for me to change my trajectory. It was my relationship with money that changed. And now I see it. I see the slow but steady change in my money. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was like, that's what life is. The slow and steady change of your relationship with your friends, the slow and steady change of the kinds of people you date, the slow and steady change of your relationship with insert alcohol, drugs here, the slow and subtle change of the way you show up in the world. Okay. It's slow and it's steady. It's like working out. You're not going to build muscle overnight, but one day someone will look at you and completely identify you as gym bro. And you're like, when did that happen? When did I go from like not gym bro to being identified as gym bro? It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like one day you start and one day you're there. And that's what the internet is to me. The internet is this place where you're either having the worst time possible or the best time possible. And yes, it works just like that in real life. And that's the illusion. The illusion is the internet is this horrible place and real life is where the fun stuff is happening. I'm sorry, isn't real life where the genocide is happening? Isn't real life where the Holocaust happened? I'm sorry, isn't in real life where the predators are sitting at the dinner table? Like the internet has those things too, but you know, like real life has those things too. Because the internet is a reflection of, you know what I mean? There is just us. It's just people. It's like this belief that if I move to the right country, my life will somehow be without bigotry. No, there's bigotry everywhere. The question is, where is the harm reduction? How do I engage with these things in a harm reducing way? And that's on us. You know, that's on us.
It recovers your empathy. It recovers your sense of self. It recovers your relationships that might have been harmed as we spend way too much time in the polluted digital environment. And you also have to be okay with being bored. In order to fight that, you have to, number one, be bored, and number two, do things. Yeah. So echo chambers and anxiety. I think that's a good solution for that.
Yeah, this isn't for us. Like the world is so interesting. I don't have time to be bored. I'm way too interested in things. That's the idea. If you're at a place in your life when you are coping and numbing yourself with the internet, you might as well do cocaine. I'm saying when you're ready, use cocaine to actually have fun. Use the internet to have fun. When you're ready, use the tool to stop numbing yourself and actually enjoy. You know, I used to numb myself listening to music. What, am I going to stop listening to music now? Or am I going to go to therapy and stop numbing myself by listening to music for hours on end and not interacting with the world? Like, it's not the music.
Next, overconsumption. This is my favorites because TikTok is like, it's QVC now. So they're going to keep taking from you if you keep giving to them. So do not be so easy to give up your personal capital out of insecurity and wealth signaling. So everywhere, every product is marketed as a solution to a feeling. I guess now.
Also, it's not the end of the world if you're bored. Like if you're bored, great. But you also don't have to be bored. But also just don't distract. Don't numb yourself. Don't numb yourself. Live, feel, see, enjoy, smell, you know?
Insecurity, aspiration, class anxiety. But once that solution becomes basic, the algorithm moves to the next item, leaving you eager to buy the thing that will provide the solution that you're looking for. Once you buy the item you think promises you the perception of wealth, the perception of desirability, or the perception of stability, that another item is going to be popularized. Once you buy the thing that you think is going to give you what you are seeking from that, like me personally, I want to buy those jeans because I want to feel stylish. I want to buy this perfume so I can feel rich or desirable, you know? There's going to be a new trendy thing. So here's some quick rapid fire examples. Lululemon, Alo, Matcha Kits, Labubu, Sunny Angels, Panda Dunks, Zambas, walking pads, bar carts, Stanley Cups, Owala bottles, Baggu. I could go on forever. I'm not going to read my whole list, but I'm not trying to be mean or contrarian, you guys, with this. I am a victim. I have a Baggu. I have Owala.
What is that? I don't even know what those words are. What are those words?
Okay. I love a good fragrance that I think is going to make me smell like a member of the Roy family. I'm just going to be honest. If y'all watch Succession, I'm just being honest with that.
What is that?
I love personal finance. I don't believe it's an issue of like if you can afford it or not. And I know we have like a consumer issue as it pertains to consumer debt. It's more so a matter of why you are buying the thing.
Oh, I agree with her. It's why you're buying the thing. Oh, it's a bag. Yeah. Okay. Like, yeah. Why are you buying it? Don't buy a Labubu because it's trending. Buy it because you think it's cute, like a Furby, right? Like, I agree with her on this. Like, buy it because you want it, not because it's trending. But also understand that sometimes it's okay to buy things that are trending. And sometimes it's okay to be like, oh man, I bought that because it was trending, but I realized I didn't like it.
Are you buying it to feel a certain way about yourself? So I think the best way to fight this.
Actually, wait, do you know what it is? No. I refuse to engage in this. Hold on. You know what it is too? I think for a lot of neurodivergent people like myself, I think we spent our whole life excited to have adult money to buy things we never could buy for ourselves when we were younger. Because if you had parents like mine, you didn't get to buy things you wanted necessarily because they couldn't afford to, or you had hand-me-down clothes, or like you couldn't get name brand. So when you get older, you want to buy the stuff you never had. You want to dress like the punk goth girl you never were allowed to dress like. And then now that I'm past that stage, because that did happen to me, now I'm past that stage. Now I don't worry too much about like wanting to be who I was as a teenager. I think I'm done with that. Now I'm like, okay, now that I've like healed my inner child, who do I want to be in my 40s? Because she still has taste. And who do I want to be and what do I want to invest in? So now I'm thinking about quality clothes. I'm thinking about aesthetic. I'm not buying any new clothes. We have bought minimally only underwear and socks. Okay. Everything else, unless it's an emergency, we're not buying new clothes. We're trying very hard to minimally buy absolutely anything for the next couple of years. And it's like a no buy thing. But like, okay, the idea is not no buy, like a trend, no buy, if you know the trend. It's more like, does this help us get to the next stage of our goals? And what do we want to put money into? Every single thing we want to do goes into a desired budget. Like I want to get my ears pierced. Okay, that goes into the budget. We don't just go get our ears pierced anymore. Where in my 20s, I would have just gone and go get my ears pierced, put on a credit card. No, you want to pierce your ears? You put it in the budget. When do we have extra money after everything else is taken care of? Where on the priority list is this? When can we get ears pierced? It goes into the budget. Okay. Same thing with buying a house. Now that buying a house is a priority, it has to be put into the budget. Now, buying a house is a big purchase. So there's a priority for it, but it also, because it's such a big purchase, is a different kind of line of priority than like the ear piercing. Like I'll probably get an ear piercing before I buy a house, but if anything gets in the way of buying that house, it's not an option. So the question, okay, so it's like you have this limited amount of money. So again, everything, same thing with the internet. If you really notice like the internet isn't serving you, then find another tool that is, but don't poo-poo my thing because it's not good for you. This goes back to marijuana. This goes back to sex work. This goes back to everything else. Don't be the boomers who are like, well, it's not good for me, so it must not be good for you. Or most people have problems with drugs. Most people are really suffering. I'm sorry you guys are so bad at doing stuff. I'm sorry that you are struggling to have a healthy relationship with drugs, but some of us had a very good relationship with them. And I'm saying we need to figure out how that happened. Okay? Chet says, do you take things out of the budget in order to do something as a one-time purchase like piercings? Not really. I mean, not for something like that. If there's obviously if there's like a unforeseen like emergency that isn't covered by an emergency budget, or if there's like I don't know, like something we didn't foresee coming up, but not for something like piercings. It just wouldn't be responsible. Like it wouldn't make sense, right? It's not important. It's not life-changing. It's not a need. It's not mental health related. I can wait on it. Now, maybe you're at a stage in your life where getting this piercing feels like mental health, right? So then get the piercing. But for me at this stage, it feels like a fun, I think it'd be cute. I want it. So it can go lower on the priority list. But also if I don't put it on the list, then I'm not going to think about it. So I also have the kind of brain that won't reach for goals unless I write them down. You know, Chessa, so when you say put it on the budget, what do you mean? So we have a priority of things we want, and it goes on the list of like priorities. So there's all these things in this area of my brain that I want, but none of it is as important as these things here in front of me. And it's on the very bottom of the priority list. But first, before we get that, we want a Roomba. Before we get that, we want like XYZ. We want this, we want this. And then once we get all those things, now we can look at my piercings. Does that make sense? So when I say put it in the budget, I don't mean there's any money getting allocated to it yet. It means it's in the queue to get money allocated to it. Does that make sense? So it's on the list of things that will eventually get money thrown towards it over something else. But then here are the top 5 things that have money getting allocated to them. Does that kind of help?
Pollutant is to have deep introspection and to have functionality inform almost all of your.
Oh, she said introspection.
Have deep introspection.
Ooh.
And to have functionality inform almost all of your purchases. Almost everything you buy, you have to be informed about its functionality, and you have to look within as to why you may want that.
Why can't you do that with the internet? Why can't you do that same thing with the internet? I don't get it. In the same way you become introspective about what you buy, extrospective about how you exist in the world, why can't you do that with the internet?
Thing. This was a resolution of mine. I think I'm doing a lot better than I did in the past. More tangible solutions, doing no buys for the month. The one that I do is I'll buy 1 and then 2 have to go. So if I need a new, or if I want a new pair of shoes, 2 pairs of shoes has to go. 7-day waiting period before.
Pause. That is against my values. Example, if 2 pairs of shoes have to go to buy new shoes, all I'm thinking is those are going in a landfill. No new shoes until the shoes have holes. No new clothes until the clothes, and then we have to do something with them. Because like getting rid of the shoes to buy more shoes just puts more shoes in a landfill that we're not done living. Right? Like that's the problem, is like my values right now, where I'm at right now, my focus is like to harm reduce that, right? And so like that's interesting that, yeah, that's her rule. But see how this still plays into consumption for me over consumption? Yes, Discord said all my old clothes go into a spare fabric bin. Exactly. Make it a rag, make it something, clean the floors with it, figure it out, you know, and then eventually when it's really done, give it away, you know?
Buying something, getting creative with the things you already have, learn to be functional with the things you already have, go to the library instead of buying books, buy secondhand, or don't buy at all. And then this is a personal thing. Buy the thing that you want. If I see a $60 pair of jeans and I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy the cheaper pair of jeans for $20, that's just trendy, then I'm spending those same $20 when I really in the back of my head want the $60 pair of jeans, but didn't want to pay for it up front the first time. I don't know if that makes sense, but like buy the thing you want. Those are my solutions for overconsumption. Now, cultural extraction is interesting because when talking to a family member about it, they're like, well, involve cultural appreciation. I think that is a great solution. Appreciate, not appropriate cultures. And I'm mentioning the matcha video again. There's a way to appreciate what she was saying in the video and then not to appropriate it. So, but what I said originally was to participate and contribute to your IRL community. So on the real life community side, many
Chat says my daughter started doing clothing swaps. Wait, that's so cool. Like her and her friends like swap with each other instead of buying new clothes. I wish I did that with my friends growing up. I mean, a lot of my clothes came from my older cousins, but wait, that's such a cool idea. Like, okay, girls, who's like ready for like, oh my gosh, coming together with like our bags of stuff and like who wants what? That's so cute.
Community events are paywalled, often for valid reason. They take place in venues that need to survive, run by people who need to get paid. And let's be honest, especially talking about some communities, some businesses don't want certain communities in their spaces to begin with. On the other hand, some community events do not need to be paywalled. Free options do exist, and if they don't, you have the power to build them instead of building unproductive conversations that look like dialogue, but are actually cycles of stress and outrage. I know that's a controversial, but I'm sick of people asking, oh, I don't have this, I don't have this. You have the idea, God blessed you with the idea, execute it, you know? And I feel like there's people in place that will help you to get there. Maybe that's privileged of me to say, but that's just from my experience. So that said, though, it gets tricky when we talk about proximity and accessibility, which I'll discuss for the tin hat part of my theory. But overall, the model is participate, don't observe. And if you're producing these spaces, keep the wall low, don't get greedy. It's easy to hike prices up because you know that you can get some money off of it, but just keep it cute. Invest your time in smaller communities where mutual investment and care is the default. That could be a group chat with your friends, with their comic books.
Did she just say a group chat with her friends? So social media? Am I stupid? I think I'm dumb. Is WhatsApp social media? You mean a group chat with your friends? You mean a place where you text your friends memes from the internet and you share videos from the internet and you talk to each other? I'm so confused. What does any of this mean? What does this mean?
Local dive bar, your local coffee shop, a film discussion group.
You mean a film discussion group where you consume media to talk about it later? You mean the internet? Hello? What's the point of having a film group isn't that just the internet? That's what we do on the internet. We watch movies together and we talk about it. That's what we're doing. Like, I'm so confused. Are you not doing this on the internet?
That meets at the library, book club, you know, if you want to produce something. Also,
Oh, my sister just told me she's reading Bell Hooks' book. I told her, I was like, oh, you should read Bell Hooks. She goes, oh, Brittany, I'm reading Bell Hooks. I was like, you should, really, you reading? And she goes, oh, yeah, I'm in a book club. I was like, oh my God, my book club did Bell Hooks. And now my sister and I get to talk about, because we both had book clubs where we did Bell Hooks. But mine was on the internet and hers is in person. See how it didn't matter? Like, it's still Bell Hooks. You know what I mean? I don't know.
create what you don't see already, or work with someone to create what you both don't see in real life. So, and I mentioned this, of course, this gets a little tricky when we're talking about accessibility. And it gets tricky when other people aren't necessarily invested in building real life community that you pay attention to. There have been so many times where I've been to parties or even hanging out with my family where everyone's together, but everyone's on their phones. And not to be that girl, not to be that old man, but you guys, like, can we play a game? Like, have it.
Your family doesn't like you. Your friends don't like you. If you have to beg your family and friends to spend time with you, but they'd rather be on their phone, hello? I don't think I've ever been to a sibling event where that was the case. And when the one or two siblings were attached to their phone, yeah, they didn't want to be there. I'm like, go home, bro. You don't have to be here, bro. And they're like, yeah, bro, I'm kind of bored. I'm like, go home. You know what I mean? Go home. But like, you did not just show up to mom and dad's house with all this good food and you're not going to play games with us or hang out with us. Just go home. You don't have to be here. You know what I mean? And they're like, okay, cool, bro. They feel bad. Or they stopped doing that because they started to feel a part of the family. So they stopped being on their phones. I don't know, girls. I just feel like, what are we talking about right now, right? What are we talking about?
Screen free.
I'll rewind it for people who didn't hear.
Girl, there have been so many times where I've been to parties or even hanging out with my family where everyone's together, but everyone's on their phones. Not to be that girl, not to be that old man, but you guys, like, can we play a game? Like, having screen-free quality time with the people that you love or the people that you appreciate is something that I just cherish so deeply.
Yeah, but they don't cherish it with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, my sister came to visit, right? And we spent all of our time together. We weren't on our phones except to have our me time, which my sister was like, hey, do you mind if I'm on my phone? I want to do my me time. I was like, go for it, girl. Do you mind if I'm on my phone? I want to have like my me time. Because me time is like, you know, parallel play and stuff like that, right? So it's like that kind of stuff, right? Look, I think this girl generally feels very sweet and very nerdy and very focused and very like confident. But also I think she's missing the forest for the trees. I don't think she is intuitionally wrong. I think she is doing what everybody does. She's like everybody else I hear who complains about the internet. It's your relationship with these things and you're projecting it onto everyone else. But also it's the people she's around. When I'm with my friends and family, we're not worried about phones. We don't have to have these conversations. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe I'm just lucky that I don't have to have these conversations with the people in my life. But we actually want to spend time with each other. Like, we really like each other. So, like, why would I be on TikTok unless we are parallel playing or unless, like, I am sharing? Why would I be on TikTok if my brother's in town? Why would I have my family? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I be at my mom and dad's house and they would rather be on TikTok than hanging out with me? Now, if my dad is like, oh, Brittany, come watch this YouTube video with me. I'm like, okay, cool. And then we sit on the couch and we watch a YouTube video. Now the YouTube video is an opportunity for us to play together. That's the game. The game becomes the video we're watching together. You know what I mean? So it just feels like really strange, I think, when people say like, I really value a relationship with my loved ones, but when I'm at their house, they're on their phones. They don't want to spend time with you. That's how I hear that. That's how I hear that. Now, if somebody says to me, I have crippling anxiety and I really need my phone to feel comfortable and I just want to be here, that's okay too. But I just can't imagine a scenario where we are mutually enjoying each other and mutually love each other and we're having problems. You know, it just feels very interesting. You know, and what's worse is like she just described her real life community, and I'm describing both my in real life and off and online life, and they're better than hers. See how it's not the relationship with the community? I would never tell you the story. Have I ever in my life told you this story? Have I ever complained to you on the internet that when I'm with my family and friends, they're on their phones and they're not paying attention to me? When have I ever made this complaint? Never. Never. And that's the point. And I am what they would call like an online person. And I've never had this complaint because I learned to value the connection I had with individual people and to build community through that and to recognize relationships can be hard, but it's not because people are on the phone or on their internets. It's because of value differences, politics, issues with like valuing people as a person, you know? Yeah.
And it's kind of gets really sad to see the former. In this part of the theory, I say the only real solution is abandonment unless full collective investment exists digitally, which will not. So here's what I mean by that. You can argue that digital communities are powerful because they promote new conversations and promote visibility, but they can only be productive for the digital environment when both parties resist the cycle of outrage that platforms are.
And by the way, when I said her family doesn't want to hang out with her, I'm saying like, that's okay. Go find a chosen family that will. Go find one person that will. That's the other thing. Listen, I know I'm autistic, but I don't need a group of friends. I need one. I need one. Somebody said a TikTok the other day, normalize moving cities for your friends. I've been doing that since day one, girl. Every time I've moved to be near friends. Or I've moved to be with a partner, sure. But like, I've already done that. I always move where I know at least one person. I have never moved to a place where I didn't know at least one person, most of which were friends. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the internet is having this realization, like, why don't I move to a city just to be near my friend? Okay, girl, we've been doing that. I don't know what you've been doing, but I think we've been doing that. Most of the people I know who had roommates or lived with their friends also moved for their friends. My brother just told me he's thinking about moving to a different state to be with his buddies. I don't know what you've all been doing with your life, but I think some of us have already been doing that. Most of the people I know moved for jobs, but also for friends, because that's your community. Or they moved to a city that would have more people they could meet that were similar to them. Do you know what I'm saying? And you know how they found those cities and those rental properties? The internet.
Literally designed to provoke. It takes effort to not immediately react, to post, not to perform, and digitally it takes effort to treat.
Exactly, chat. Thank you. It's a little ironic that she recorded this video on a tape recorder to put on the internet where people on the internet are connecting with her. And then people in her comments were like, this is so authentic. This is so cool. I love that you recorded this on tape instead of using like a filter. This is so organic. Girl, it's still the internet. Welcome to social media. That's what I'm saying. You don't hate the internet. You hate your relationship with it. So have a better relationship and stay. Okay? Have a different relationship with it and stay.
Each other with grace and curiosity because we aren't physically seeing someone. When everyone is trying to go viral or win a debate or look smart or look careless, actual connection becomes impossible. And this is what I mentioned. Like my partner, they have never had an Instagram. Okay? So when they have to catch up with someone, they have to physically call them or physically,
Okay, my partner's never had an Instagram either. It's not a brag. They have a Discord. Okay, and they have a Discord. That's still social media. They have, YouTube. They had a TikTok. So? And then, you know what I mean?
Text them or physically hang out with them. And I feel like that the whole Instagram culture of like, oh my gosh, let me check up on them. And it's just kind of seeing them through a glass wall. That's freaking weird, And I just prefer to just try and text people like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? Instead of looking on their Instagram and like, oh, they went to Italy. It's like,
that's what the disconnect is. I never do that. I never check my family and friends' social media to see what they're up to. I do call them because my family and friends aren't on social media like that. Like they have an Instagram, but they don't post. They have social media. They don't post. We call each other. Everybody in my life who has a social media, it's privated. And I don't even follow them. I don't follow any of my siblings on Instagram. I don't follow any of my besties on Instagram. They might have those things, but that is none of my business. Because they're privated. They're not for me. They're for their other friends. Their other friends. I'm a close friend. I don't need Instagram. I call. I text. I don't need to see your Instagram, girl. Text me. Send it to me. But also that's like, or send it on Instagram in DMs. Use Instagram, but send it through DMs. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Show it to me, Rachel. Show it to me, Rachel. It's just like, I don't know.
Me take some time and say, hey girl, how you doing? You know, I think that's really disappointing to see out and about, you know. But like I said, I do it too. We're all working on this together, you guys. I really do think that the only tangible solution is to abandon these spaces, because they're the glass wall. Social media is a glass wall. There's a possibility for us to have community. We just cannot build it offline. We cannot build it online, in my opinion. I know community is like the buzzword of 2025, but let's actually start doing that shit in real life, and not just saying it to sell products and things and experiences that are overpriced. Okay, that's my solution for that one. Okay, my solution for rage bait is probably my favorite. Do not engage. I do not argue with people on the internet. If a TikTok pisses you off, don't comment. Do not.
I mean, I agree. Like, I do not engage with rage bait on the internet. I mean, I make videos about it on YouTube because I'm a YouTuber, but I would never, like, I don't get in the comments and yell at people. I used to, but then I was like, this is not good for my mental health. And so, like, yeah, girl, don't argue with people.
Do not contribute to the cycle of discourse. That's a big one. You can at least try to control what you see and take back control.
Well, I guess I'm contributing to the cycle of discourse by making reply videos and like talking about it. That's for sure. But also, I think that's always how life has been. And you have to keep doing that. You have to talk about pop culture. You have to. I agree we shouldn't platform people, but you have to talk about it, because like, talking about it is the point. If you don't talk about it, then we're not actually having the conversations. And that's why kids get stuck in these bubbles, because like no one in their life is talking about it. And they go, oh, that's silly stuff. That's the internet. And the kids go, oh, my parents aren't paying attention. I guess I'll figure it out on my own. And boom, they're Andrew Tate fans. So like, you have to talk about things. You have to know what young people are seeing. You have to engage, but you don't have to engage with the direct source. You don't have to message Andrew Tate, but you should talk to your kids about Andrew Tate, and you should watch him and know what's going on, so you know what your kids are watching, right?
Control of your emotions. Yeah, a lot of people, what they say on the internet is just to prove that they know more than you, or to be hateful, or to just poke holes. Like, it's just pointless. You're not really trying to have a conversation with me. You're trying to battle me. You're trying to debate me, and no one wins from a debate. Okay? If any of you guys watching are interested in mutual investment, I'm gonna put my email. I'm gonna go old school, put my email in the caption, and we can have a conversation.
Boo, girl, do not share your email with the internet, girl. No, girl, do you want to die? Girl, the internet's gonna kill you. Do not give people your email. Next thing you know, she's gonna meet up with a bunch of randos. Like, come on now. Oh my God, okay. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, you know what? She feels like she's like moving for nostalgia. Girl, break your nostalgia bubble. Pop it. Stop, pop it. I don't know why we pretend we can't get stalked in real life. We can't get killed in real life. I'm sorry. Did husbands only start killing their wives when Twitter was made? I'm sorry. Did our boyfriends like only start raping us after Instagram baddies showed up on the internet? I'm confused. You know, come on now. Come on now. Like, give you my email. We gonna give you your home address out next? I don't know.
About it off 100% public platform, because that kind of cycle of whatever is...
Also, isn't email social media kind of like, it's still a way to talk through the internet? You know what I mean? Like, to me, I don't know.
Performance too. That is performance too. At the end of the day, I don't believe we can truly heal our digital world. So as long as a space exists, it will be exploited. It will be exploited by platforms that make money off of our time, off of our attention, off of our emotions, and by incentivizing.
I mean, look, I don't use Reddit except on occasion to like get stories or something. And I don't use X. And I agree, my life is better that I don't use X, but my life is also good that I don't use Blue Sky, even though I post on Blue Sky my videos. I don't like the format of Blue Sky. I don't like the format of X. I really like YouTube, and I really like Discord, and I really like a lot of the social media apps. I love TikTok. Like, I'm sorry. TikTok is so good for my brain. I don't know what y'all are doing on TikTok, but I am really loving the videos, the food videos, the fashion videos, the gay videos, the muscle mommy videos, the dance videos. Like, I just age appropriate dance videos. I watch people my age dance. Okay. Just for the record, it's like skilled dancing. It's like talent dancing. Okay. I just like so much anime. Oh my God. You know how many anime videos I watch on TikTok? I watched a whole episode of JJK on TikTok. I just sat there. I got lost in it one day. I was making myself coffee and I was like, oh, episode of JJK. I just watched the whole video. I was like, that was fun. Like, I don't know.
As users as they chase fame, money, an easy full-time job, or social capital. So if both creators and users aren't collectively committed to care and clarity, then any attempt to improve the space will collapse. And the truth is, some people thrive engaging with these pollutants. Rage bait, cultural extraction, and performance are appealing for some people. They're the goal for some people, to make communities outraged for money, to steal the creativity of a community, to milk you of all your money. As long as these incentives remain, the digital environment will never heal. And that's why, in the end, the only real solution is abandonment. These solutions are tricky, though, for reasons I will explain.
Yeah, what does abandonment mean if you're right here in front of me, girl? Hold on, let's look at her page really fast. This was posted December 24th. Here's her video. Let's see, more about this channel. Nothing. Okay. Videos. Okay, so she doesn't really have, like, she's just randomly posting. Like, there's no thought, which is fine, valid. Okay. Beach B, Chicago. Okay. Is she making a speech here? No. Who is this? Is she a musician? She's definitely neurodivergent, right?
Taking Zicam, oil of oregano, drank a gallon of water, and slept like maybe 9 hours. That's really what helps you rest, but nobody really gets sick days anymore. It's fucking embarrassing.
Oh, okay. Chat saying she's a DJ. Oh, yes. Like she's a cool. Oh, DJ Diaries. It's clicking. It's clicking. Ooh, pretty. See. If you want to get off the internet, why are you posting this? She posted this 5 minutes ago. Why aren't you out there living in your most present? Because I know what it is to set up shit, to record it, to share it. It takes you out of the present. That's why I don't do it anymore. Because I tried and it totally ruins the moment for me. So I'm like, I'm not doing this. You know, vlogging for me ruins it for me. So I stopped doing it altogether. I tried it and I was like, no. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but I didn't sit there and say like, you can't vlog. I just sat there and said, not for me. See how she's making a prescription? We should abandon the internet? Girl, don't abandon the internet. You seem to like it. This is cool. Like, this video is cool. Like, recording it the way she did, showing up the way she did. Like, I really like that. She has so much potential. She could be a great YouTuber. What if this video gets 1 million views and she's like, just kidding, I'm back. Like, this video, last time I checked, was like doing pretty good. It might not be, let me see, is it her most popular video? It's 70,000 views in 5 days. That's what I'm saying. 70,000 views in 5 days. That's doing better than all my videos. Welcome to YouTube, girl. Welcome to YouTube. That's so funny. That is so funny.
Explain in the official tin hat part of my theory. This is the final part of my theory. Buckle up. Point number 4. The future of a contaminated digital environment is one where privilege determines who gets to log off. This will sound crazy, but I'm standing tall on my theory. I wanted to document it in 2025 so that when this happens, if it does in 10, 15 years, y'all be like, oh my gosh, they predicted it. Okay?
Oh, they predicted it? They, them? Are they a queer, neurodivergent person? They said they.
If it does in 10, 15 years, y'all be like, oh my gosh, they predicted it. Okay? Let me drink my water for this, because it's going to be a doozy. For real. Like, seriously. In this theory, we are saying that a digital space can be polluted. Is it possible for a digital space to be zoned, redlined, colonized, gentrified? Going back to what I said before about industrial capitalism, polluting industries often situated themselves near Black neighborhoods, both to access a cheap labor force and because racist zoning laws left Black communities with little choice but to live near hazardous sites. These polluting industries were prohibited as zoning violations in neighborhoods where whites lived, and that was solely to keep their properties from deterioration. I cite the color of law in this. I kept mentioning that my solution.
I do love that she's such a reader. Chat said, are you automatically monetized for YouTube? No, she's probably not making any money off of this, which actually kind of sucks. But in order to monetize, you have to have a certain amount of subscribers, a certain amount of hours watched, and it has to be like, you have to keep it up. So she's probably not going to make any money off of this, which is too bad. She would have made she could have made some money off that.
Solutions from the last part are tricky to navigate for some people. It's tricky because these solutions are only available to those who have the time, the proximity, the privilege.
Like, even if you see an ad on a video, it doesn't mean the channel is monetized, which is very interesting because when my channel wasn't monetized, I was still seeing ads run on it. And I was like, you suck, YouTube. So they can still monetize your content, but it doesn't mean your channel is monetized. I don't know if that makes sense.
And the money. So today, those who spend the most time in the polluted digital environment are often stuck there out of necessity. Exploited labor and unlivable wages leave little time for real life communities, pushing people towards addictive platforms. There, we're being fed sensational content by creators incentivized by profit or fame to fuel stress and outrage, whether intentionally or unintentionally. When I see some rage bait on the 25th or the 26th of the month, I know you're trying to get a TikTok check. Blocked. Do not engage, okay? These creators are rewarded to keep posting, to keep being present, and to keep contributing to the—
Wait, girl, isn't that you? Didn't you just do that?
Engage, okay? These creators are rewarded to keep posting.
She didn't make a rage bait video, but she did make a very interesting video on Christmas Eve at the end of the month that is doing very fucking well. She, unknowingly to her, ironically enough, made the perfect YouTuber move. She made a video that hit before the end of the month ended up, so she'd get paid. If she was actually a YouTuber, even though she posts, that's what I'm saying. How are you out here posting YouTube videos and you're not a YouTuber? Like, I don't know why anyone posts anything on the internet if you don't want to be a content creator in a sense. But like, yeah, like, it's so funny that she did it subconsciously in a sense. Unless she's lying to me. I think she feels organic. I think she feels authentic. I think she literally didn't know this video was going to do so well. I think, I really do not think, yeah, I don't think she was malicious. So, yeah, huh.
Posting, to keep being present, and to keep contributing to the endless landfill of content. This is because attention is the currency. We've been saying that for a very long time. Your attention is currency. Attention is currency. These platforms need to be making money off of our human nature at all times. They need to be making money off of the things that the pollutants exploit. Our relationships, our empathy, our attention, our insecurities, our emotional labor, personal capital, creativity, cultures, etc. So in this case, the online community is very similar to the Black and brown neighborhoods where pollution industries were built. In those environments, they were exposed to exploitative pollutants that cause direct harm to whoever it reaches. So with that in mind, I'm starting to believe that there will be privilege in being able to be offline. The people who can afford to visit these dive bars, these libraries, these third spaces, the people who make enough money to have the time to engage with their communities or afford to live in dense, walkable communities will inevitably live healthy.
It already is a privilege to have a family you can go home to. It already is a privilege to live in a family where nobody's a predator at the dinner table. It already is a privilege to have, okay, I don't think people understand this. The family you were raised in sets up everything you're about to experience throughout your life in so many significant ways. It's not just the things that happen outside of your family dynamics. Think about all the kids. Okay, here's a question. How many of you ate dinner every night with your parents? Okay, I'm assuming 2 people came together to make you. How many times in your life growing up did you have dinner with your family every night, whoever that family was? Every night. Me, every single night, unless I was at my grandma and grandpa's, unless I was with my friends, but almost every single night, my family had dinner together. No TV on, no radio, no distractions. We ate together, talked about our days, talked about how we were, okay? People in my life, people I know, not once in their childhood had dinner with their parents growing up. Not once in their childhood had dinner with their siblings growing up. Not once in their childhood remember a moment where they ate with their parents. And you're going to tell me that's not going to set up a completely different relationship with life? Interesting. And by the way, that has been confirmed by the parents when I talk to them. Because I'm always asking parents, like, why'd you do that? Why'd you raise them this way? Like, what is up with that? And they're like, we just didn't think about it. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, damn, that's so different. Like, that's such a different experience, right? Now, okay, think about my family. You talk about my family in one way, amazing, we get along, we're so funny, I've never laughed harder in my life. The banter is crazy, adventures, we have so many cool stories. And now see where we all are now that we're adults, now that all the family like dysfunction is being unraveled and we're seriously discussing it. And now we can't even call each other on Christmas because people in the family are blaming the children for the predator's behavior. And one side of my story, without any of the dysfunction, we we had a loving home. We were constantly shown affection. We watched anime growing up with our parents. We went on vacations. I mean, the vacations were local, but we camped. We had cool toys growing up, even though they were hand-me-downs or off-brand. We had friends. We were socialized. We have amazing memories. I have photo albums after photo albums of all of our great memories. And on the other side of it, we have predator, like family, uncles, siblings, problems, molestations, like trauma, suicide, drug addiction. You know what I'm saying? And then that family is a reflection of society as a whole. This obsession with a perfect community, whether it's online or offline, is a myth. Stop trying to create a fantasy of a friend group the way you tried to create a fantasy of your family. Stop. Radically accept that we are people on a journey so you can enjoy the internet, girl. So you can enjoy life. So you can actually enjoy TikTok. Because if you keep chasing some fantasy of what human beings are, instead of accepting them for what they are, you're never going to be happy, no matter if you're offline or online or protesting or whatever. Joy comes from accepting your role in the universe, finding your sense of meaning. Everything else is a distraction, and you're never going to enjoy life until you do that. And then until you do that, it's always going to be something else, okay? And this is why I do philosophy, because I think philosophy really is the answer, because it's the love of wisdom. It's everything that came before. It's what sets up the foundation of your relationship with life. And if you keep blaming the internet for the reason your family's on their phone when you get together with them, instead of asking your family, like, hey, do you want to hang out with me? Hey, like, I just drove all the way here. Are you guys going to stay on your phones? It's not the phone. It's you. It's your family. It's our relationship with self. It's okay that you value connection with your family, but if when you go to see them, they choose their phone over you, that's why we say priorities. If you're dating a person and they choose their boys instead of hanging out with you, that's called a priority, girls. You know this, yeah? Everything we do is about priority. If my friends came all the way to visit me, imagine if my friend came all the way to visit me from America and came to Croatia, and then the whole time I just worked. I just stayed here for 12 hours a day. What? No. I'm going to work a double shift so I can take time off so I can see you. And that's what I did. I worked a double shift so I could take time to see my friend. Okay? Now, yes, certain friends might come to town and I might choose to work while they're here, but I'm still going to take some time off while they're here. So some friends also get different priorities. My sister is going to I'm going to go on vacation to see my sister, but maybe my friends that are close, but not my besties, I'm going to take a day or two off or work in the mornings. Sure. It depends, because I also have to pay my bills, so I can't always afford to take off work when people come to visit me. But to be fair, my sister coming to see me as an example was a well planned out event. Okay? So that's the other issue too, is like, these need to be conversations. We need to have conversations about like, who's getting a priority? Who am I spending time with? Because look, when I moved like to Seattle and I was coming into my like liberalism and my progressivism, that kind of more liberalism, I would say. When I was there, I thought like, wow, I'm never going to have a community who sees me better than this community I joined. Insert niche community here. And then I outgrew those communities and I was like, what's this? And it was because my identity wasn't this community anymore. My identity became something bigger. And then I moved. It doesn't mean that some of those people that I knew 8 years ago in Seattle, I do catch-up calls with every 6 weeks. The community location changed, but we are still in community with one another. And thanks to the internet, thanks to social media, thanks to Discord, we can still send each other photos and call each other because we want to see each other when we talk. This is cool. This is better when it's a friend you haven't seen in a while and you want to see, hey, what do you look like? What do you look like now? You got a new tattoo. Oh, you got a new haircut. Oh, you got chest surgery. You know, it's like, oh, thank you. Wow. I will never not be grateful for this thing I call the internet, because this thing I call the internet is just a tool that I use to stay in touch with my community. That natural life takes me away from constantly. My normal in real life takes me away from my in real life community. And I can't move as much as I do and keep making in real life communities everywhere I move. I'm not that person. So we need to stop making prescriptions for everybody to get off the internet when some of us are literally vibing. I'm sorry it's not working for you, but some of us are literally vibing, bro. We're thriving, vibing, okay?
Healthier lives than those who have to be online. There will be a class of people who have to be online out of necessity due to geographical isolation, economic uncertainty, or lack of access. I believe that the online class could potentially become a lower class of people, maybe build.
And look, those rich people who are like, I'm offline, I don't have to be on Twitter. Cool, bro. We were gonna be friends anyway. Why would I want to? And I've had to tell my friends, you got to stop judging me for being online all the time. Because again, my life is good. You're the one whose life is miserable. See how you're offline but still sad? I'm online and very happy. But also it's because this is like, again, it's like you got to stop comparing our lives and stop thinking, well, my life must be better because I'm offline. Because that's you. That's a you problem. Any friend in my life who's ever judged me for being online too much, I go, that's about you. That's not about me. No, because you're looking at me and saying, well, if Brittany's doing all these weird things, why is it working for her? No, this isn't about me. Exactly like your conservative parents. You can't be that. You know how many times I heard growing up from conservatives, you can't possibly be that happy and gay. You can't possibly be happy in this kind of a marriage. You can't possibly be happy and dressing in a bikini. You can't possibly be happy. Girl, please go talk to your priest about whatever this is or your therapist. Again, this has nothing to do with me.
Out the idea of a digital caste system. And I just finished Careless People. Oh, just finished Manifesting. I actually have 20.
My mom literally said to me once, Betsy, you'll just feel so much more feminine and in your joy if you stop wearing pants. I was like, Mom, I'm not going to stop wearing pants. Okay. And not just because women fought so hard to wear them, but because I like them. I'm not going to stop wearing pants. She goes, I just feel like I am so much more liberated in my skirts. I was like, look, you're really ruining the skirt for me because I love a skirt, but like, I'm not going to wear skirts. And my mom has nice skirts. But the idea that like, I just feel this way, so you should feel this way. Stop it. Stop it.
Pages left. And it was talking about a lot of the Facebook executives didn't even allow their children to post on Facebook, or didn't even post that much on Facebook by themselves. So it's like, the nonsense you're spreading. Look at the Campbell Soup guy. They know the unhealthiness that they're peddling to people, but they just think you'll be stupid enough to buy into it because by themselves. So it's like, the nonsense you're spreading. Look at the Campbell Soup guy.
Is she talking about the CEO that was like secretly recorded by a whistleblower? And he's like, I'm not eating that shit. It's gross. Like things in that, like the synthetic meat or whatever is in that soup. I don't mean to say, no, Brittany, stop. No, Brittany, no, listen. Eating Campbell's chicken soup or like the soup in cans, eating soup out of a can is like eating Kraft mac and cheese. It hits, but really? Did you think it was good for you? You know what I'm saying? Like it hits, but did you at any point think it was good for you? It's also not that bad for you, but it's also not that good for you either. But it's not that bad for you either. But also it's not that good for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. The way people sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, girl.
They know the unhealthiness that they're peddling to people, but they just think you'll be stupid enough to buy into it because you don't have the privilege to.
See, now am I stupid if I enjoy Campbell's soup? I hate this shit. I hate the judging. Bro, with peace and love, move over, let me eat my soup. If I want to hit a box of Kraft mac and cheese, bro, fuck off. I mean, it's not vegan, but like, you know what I mean? This isn't Annie's Kraft mac and cheese, or, not Kraft, but mac and cheese, but I feel like there's a layer of judgment that comes with this that I'm not interested in. Let me eat my hot Cheetos. Okay? I don't know. You know what I mean? Just let me live my life.
Be off. In this way, the internet becomes digitally redlined, not through physical segregation, but by who can afford to leave and who has to stay. And much like the history of discrimination.
Hey, when it comes to this point, are people going to stop saying YouTube is a privilege? YouTubers are so privileged. You're in a privileged job. But then when it becomes the underclass, is it now going to be like, oh my God, it's so sad you're on YouTube? Guys, I don't know what to tell you. It's always been sad you're on YouTube. Most of the people literally I meet are like, are you so, like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, YouTube. But they're like, oh, you're still doing that thing? You mean my job? You mean my job? Oh, yeah. And I'm like,
labor exploitation, the system.
I think maybe that's the chronic online thing. When you're online, you think YouTubers are like, whoa, YouTube. But like when you go back to like offline, they look at you like you're a stripper. Are you still doing that club stuff? Are you still working nights? And it's like, yes, you know?
Disproportionately harms marginalized communities. So I think we are at risk of creating a digital caste system where a privileged few can log off and build healthier, happier lives, while the rest of us are left to mine content in a polluted digital world. In this digital lower caste, both the content creator and the users are still workers. Content creators pump out the content, the user consumes, the user responds. So on the creation side, depending on what they produce, they may fuel the digital pollutants and what they exploit in search of their own money, attention, fame. Some people get paid, y'all know how the influencer market is. A lot of people get paid a lot of money to be an influencer. There are some people who don't get a lot of money, usually people from marginalized communities. And then there's some influencers that don't get paid at all. And some just get paid in cultural cachet. But as for the users, it is their attention they dedicate to these addictive platforms that allow both a platform and the creator to gain wealth. So like I said, the influencer marketing bubble, these influencers can make so much money, so much that they fuel an industry. What do you think the social media companies are making off of their ads, you know?
True.
So now,
True. If Charlie made $34 million, how much do you think YouTube made? Because like, I cannot even believe they paid him out, to be honest with you. Like, $34 million? Just a reminder that most of us are not doing that. Okay, YouTube is just like art. Some people are Banksy, selling millions of dollars for their art. And most people, if they're lucky, are barely paying rent with their art. Okay, most YouTubers are barely paying money. No, not Charlie Kirk. Charlie Penguin Zero. Penguin Zero made $34 million. No, so that's just a reminder there. You know? Like, you know what's so funny is, you know, there's this idea like, oh, you should pay independent artists to help you with your channel or your art. And then where do you think I found those independent artists? Like, I'm just so curious. Like, where do you think I found artists to make me art? Where do you think I found this painter? Where do you think she came from? That I bought 3 of her paintings and one of them she gifted to me. Where do you think I found these sketch artists that I bought their art from? Do you think I ever would have come across their work if it wasn't for social media? I'm so confused when people are like, pay local artists, pay people. You know what I mean? I don't know.
before we dive into the digital lower caste, I wanted to talk about.
Oh, thank you, Chad says your amazing earrings and my amazing earrings. Inspired by Mia. I follow her on Instagram. Inspired by Mia. I love her earrings. I'm obsessed with her earrings. Do you know what I'm saying?
What caste is. So I wanted to cite the book Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. I Will Be Coming Clean. I did not read the book. I just read Origin, but I know the pillars. So
okay, this girl keeps sharing a lot of books she hasn't read. She keeps sharing all the books. She's like, I haven't read this one yet. Why, girl? She's funny. I do think she might be really young. And this is like, I think we were taking, I don't know why I thought this video was going to be like from a different perspective, but if we just look at her as like a girly on a journey figuring it out, then she's not coming from an authority, like a person with authority. She's not like an older, wiser person. She's just a girly on the internet being like, hey, I don't like it here. Okay, vibes. Okay, but like this is like a serious sounding video that ended up popping off and it got a lot of views, but like, you know, there's nothing much going on here, but like, I feel her. I think she's struggling. I think a lot of people are struggling, right? Like, it's okay. But also, I'm just here to counter everything she's saying because like, I'm a happy girly and I want her to be a happy girly. And I just want her to know there's so much beauty on the internet if you're in the right places. You know, all those Jubilee videos she talked about earlier, you know, those Jubilee videos, you know, like one guy versus 30 guys. This is what I do. I don't watch them. Hey, my mental health is so much better. I watched one of them recently with my Discord and all of us were like, I think we're losing brain cells. The only Jubilee videos I watch are 5 gay guys and 1 straight guy. The only Jubilee videos I ever give a chance to are like 1 goth, 7 vegans. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? The one with I don't know, insert conservative talking head here. I do not watch. Okay? That's it. The end.
might be a little off on this one. I just want to be honest with you guys. She explains how caste systems like in the US, India, and Germany are built on fixed rankings of human value, placing one group above another. She outlines 8 pillars that uphold these systems. The one I want to focus on is occupational hierarchy, or what I call job desirability. In the US, enslaved Africans and later Black Americans were forced into the most grueling, low-status labor because they were seen as property, not people. They were seen as solely a means of extracting resources to generate wealth. This creates the thought that what you do in society proves your inferiority or superiority. In this theory, if the digital environment is polluted and unsafe, and only the privileged have a means to opt out, then those who must stay and work within it, whether as users or creators, end up holding undesirable roles. They will end up having dirty jobs. This automatically places them into a lower caste.
So she's basically thinking that YouTube might one day look like or feel like the way people make fun of like fast food workers or janitors. She's saying that will be social media in the future. I think it's already there. I think people do feel that way about social media. I don't know why, like most YouTube people say like, oh yeah, that's how we were treated. And by the way, I'm treated like that still because I'm not rich. Until I become, and if I ever become, and I probably won't be, but until I become, in quotation marks, a millionaire YouTuber, I am basically a janitor to most people when I talk to them, which is bullshit. Because what's wrong with being a janitor? Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's how people treat me. Oh my God, you're a YouTuber? Do you have like millions of views? No. Do you get like, hundreds of thousands of views? No. Oh my God, do you make like $100,000? No. Oh. See, now it's like, oh. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's like, why do you even have that judgment? I make literally more than you. I pay my bills. And on this salary, if I stay the same way I am, like I'm going to buy a house and shit. It might take a long time, but I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So like, why are you coming at me, bro? That same thing with like being a janitor or anything else. Like, people are working. At least we have jobs. Mind your business. Like, it feels like this weird thing. It's like, oh, I can't believe you don't have a job. And then you get a job. They're like, ooh, I can't believe that's your job. Bro.
Within the digital hierarchy. We've seen this happen to other industries. Capitalism has a way of manufacturing dream jobs, then oversaturating those industries until they collapse.
Actually, true, chat. To be honest, her argument isn't new, and I feel like it's trendy to talk about this topic. So it's not shocking she had got many views from it. Exactly. How insidious is that? For them to make this content about being authentic and organic while actually writing on a trending topic I have seen in the last 2 months. All I see is this dead internet theory has always been a bullshit. Oh, the internet's not this place, touch grass. That's what I'm saying. Does she even know though? I secretly kind of think she might actually think she's the first. And I'm like, girl, do you know the internet's already done this? I've seen this video. We've already watched a video like this so many times on stream. We get it. The internet sucks. You're not having a good time here.
Look at what a tech job looked like 20 years ago versus today.
Which, by the way, is great for me because then I can make content on it. It's a lot of fun. And that's why we still will have the same conversations about, what is love? Because all we're doing is repeating conversations forever. That's what human beings do. We repeat conversations forever. That's why the joke is, what's a conversation between two fives? Silence. What is there to talk about? The only thing we ever talk about is the same shit we've always talked about. And we love it, and I love it, and I'll never stop. And I'm so grateful that I get to do it for a living. But we're going to be talking about stuff forever. Chet said, what's the conversation between what? Fives on my level system, 1 through 5s, links in the description. 5s is like, it's a joke if but that's the point. But the best problem solving comes from these discussions. That's why we have them, because some of us are actually getting somewhere with it,
That's all I'll say about that. Or think about what gig work looked like 10 years ago in 2015 versus today. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash. And you can even talk about the music industry and freelance work or whatever. But specifically, Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash, all of those things. No benefits, but you could set your own schedule, but they're going to do absolutely everything they can to make you work like a full-time employee without giving you the benefits of being one. I think that content creation right now is positioned as a lucrative path. And I'm going to go on a quick tangent about this. They offer fame, money, attention, or success. Just post that content. Someone probably told you, luring you in with nice packages, nice vacations, expensive clothes. And that's an advertisement to get you to participate in an industry built to oversaturate itself. Creators need to earn their money by contributing to the digital landfill through telling the user that if they contribute to the digital landfill, they too will be rich like them or famous like them. That's how I feel. I'm just so against short form DJ content because y'all are just not getting my gems. Especially if y'all don't go out. I believe that creators and users alike will become mostly desperate workers clinging to visibility or survival. Larger creators won't want to get a 9 to 5. They don't want to stop being famous, so they bring you down a level by provoking you with a pollutant. They do this because they too have become...
I have a friend who works in an industry that's kind of dying, and it mostly caters to like a older audience, and they really want to get people, you know, through the door. And I'm like, get on social media, make it cool, and young people will show up. And they're like, no, I don't want to make it like, I don't have to rely on the internet to make it cool again. And I'm like, okay, but like, that's how you do it. And they're like, I just want people to like it for the love of the craft. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, what are you, 5? I love you. What are you, 5? I just want people to like it because I like it. Grow up, okay? I love you. With peace and love. Grow up. Like, I'm so sorry. That sounds so bitchy, but like, I love my friends. I love people in my life, but like, grow up. Like, come on. Human beings have never done that, ever. Never. Everything is marketing. Everything you think you're organically interested in, every person who's like, I liked anime before it was cool. Did you like it because nobody thought it was cool? Did some part of you think you were cooler because nobody liked it? Like, come on now. It's like, come on. Like, you don't even know why you like that thing. But if you only like it because it's like, it's organic and people have to find it, you're basically saying you like it because you think it's better than other things because it isn't being satirized on the internet. And then that's why the art is so, it's just make it pop off on social media and you'll get people through the doors. You know? It just feels like, come on, guys. Like, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes people think what they're doing is super cool and organic and like, oh my God. If you really love it and you want more people to see it, use any method you can within reason to get people involved. Because otherwise you are just gatekeeping it. And it is a form of gatekeeping. If you're privileged enough to afford it, if you're privileged enough to see that it is happening, if you're privileged enough to live in the area, if you're privileged enough, just stop gatekeeping and invite people in. Okay?
Desperate workers, and you, the user, indulge and react, giving both the platform and the creator wealth. In the future, in this theory, the role of the user and the creator will inevitably become dirty work. No benefits, no time off, no stability, just an endless push to keep filling the digital landfill with content and discourse. In the future, I believe that a digital cast normalizes how some people's lives are more online than lived, not because they choose it or even become addicted to it, but because they cannot afford to log off. Their labor, their attention, and emotional energy.
You mean like a job? This already exists through capitalism on our normal jobs. The dilemma with social media is that this is why I say stop telling your kids social media is easy. Stop telling yourself social media is easy. It's just a job. It works like every other job. Most of us can't afford to log off. It's already happening now. It's always been the case. I don't know any YouTuber who can afford to log off. Even the ones that are rich and famous and popular, it comes at an expense to log off. Just like any other job that has a high demand, like a celebrity or an actress or an actor or a painter or a CEO or whatever else. That's why we all have to make decisions about how we have and how we do labor, like how we make money, right? I think that's what's missing is like, that's why I guess because I got into YouTube knowing it was a job. Every time I hear from a YouTuber who's like, I just started it, I didn't even know I could make money off of it. That's insane to me. There wasn't one day that I never got on YouTube for fun. Never. I never even before, I did it for free because they didn't have the partner paid program yet. Right? Like I was on YouTube before they were paying people, but I never just did it for fun. It was always supposed to be towards something. Because why else would I put myself on the internet? For people to make fun of my looks, to harass me, to stalk me, to threaten my life, to come find me. Like, why else would I publicize my most deepest vulnerabilities? Why else would I even, you know what I mean? Yes, it was community and yes, it was great, but like also, you know, it just feels like really weird that people thought to get on the internet and share themselves and didn't even like, but then I don't know if it's because I was on the internet before YouTube. I also knew what the internet was. You know what I mean? Maybe for those of us who are old enough to remember like older internet, you know, I guess I always thought about, I don't know. My parents also encouraged me to go online. I don't know if it's just growing up in a conservative bubble as well. Like conservatives do turn everything you love into a job. So maybe it's also that. Like, oh, this is a hobby you're doing? Make it into a job. I don't know. Chess has reminded you of the people who shame underground artists for gaining notoriety. Why would you not want an artist you support to see the fruits of their labor? And it's because in their mind, and I think this is somewhat true, once it goes mainstream, it gets diluted. And I do think that is true. But I also think it's worth it. I felt that way when the BDSM community got publicized because of 50 Shades of Grey. I was like, it's getting ruined. But the truth is, it didn't really ruin the community. It just meant vetting needed to be more rigorous. It just meant that it's like anime. Oh my God, all these people like anime's ruined. Anime's being ruined. With peace and love. Okay, it's not being ruined. Okay, like people keep saying that. They're just mad that their thing that made them unique is going viral. And I'm saying, yes, people will dilute some variation of the thing you love, but that doesn't mean like you're not going to have options. Okay? You will have options. I don't know. People are high school with money, high school with money, high school with money, high school with money. Just like high school was, right? This is my niche community thing. I don't want it to be popular. I'm not a popular kid. Like, it sounds like it's almost like the movie Mean Girls. You know, everybody in that movie's a mean girl, even Lindsay Lohan. And then it's like what people are watching like Mean Girls and being like, no, Lindsay's actually the good guy. She's the main character. The point of the movie was to talk about how everyone's a mean girl. The point of the world, I think the point that you have to get to is realizing like, you're not the only good person in the world. The world's a reflection of us as a whole, and we're all participating in this group project. You know, yes, some people are better than others, but generally speaking, it's not like better, you know, it's not like that much better. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, somewhat better, but not like, you know what I mean?
Becomes fuel for a system designed to keep them scrolling, to keep them posting, and to keep them reacting at all times. That will inevitably affect everyone, but more harshly, people of marginalized communities. As long as we exist in the framework of profit over people, I don't...
Plus that original YouTube group, you mean the one that sold out and all wrote books back in the day? Come on now. A lot of those YouTubers who were like, oh yeah, I just didn't even know I could make money off of it. One, I do not believe them. And two, okay, a lot of those people... They sold you authenticity because that was the vibe, but come on now. Have we not learned? And again, girl, I could rant for hours.
believe that we can heal polluted
It's still a great place. Even with all the loser YouTubers in this space, it's still a great space.
environments. I do not believe coexistence in this digital world is truly possible, but I do believe that we can take back control by abandoning them while we can. America and everywhere in the world, do not engage. Reduce your screen time, take the time to ground yourself in real life, participate or build real life communities, resist buying too much crap. All of these things could be very productive.
I like the last one especially, like stop buying so much crap for sure.
Their hope is to help others find their way out before it becomes a question of privilege. I really wanted to drive this point home before I go back into this conclusion. These tech people are so evil and they are very aware. Cal Newport has an amazing video. Hopefully I remember it. And he is saying that we often think that the addiction, the anxiety, just the emotional manipulation that we experience on social media is a byproduct or a side effect of the intended functionality of these social media. That is the functionality of the social media platform. So with that in mind,
Hold on, I gotta rewind that.
Product or a side addiction, the anxiety, just the emotional manipulation that we experience on social media is a byproduct or a side effect of the intended functionality of these social media.
Oh, kind of like how capitalism is working just fine. Kind of how like patriarchy is actually working. Kind of like how everything is working the way that it was intended. because it works on us, because it exploits our vulnerabilities, and because we don't do the philosophical work. And so there is no chance of us actually doing the work to have a better relationship with these things. That flashing the word sale actually gets people to buy things, even though the number has not gone down and it actually is not any cheaper than it was yesterday. Like, so again, it's a game of tug and war, because like that's how the world evolved to be. This is how humans evolved to be. Not all humans are doing these things though, but we are all participating. We are all participants. Okay. And in the same way that our communities worship the same God that like their slavers worshipped, right? The same way that women uphold the same patriarchy that subjugates them, the same way like Blair White gets on the internet and talks about how conservatives are better than liberals, even though she's literally trans, the same way like we all exist in the world. Like it's us. It's us. And I feel like that's the problem. Like these systems are a reflection of us. Just like I don't believe in trickle-down economics, I don't believe in trickle-down systems, but I do believe the systems exist because we think they're working, or we don't understand how they work. You know what I'm saying? Like patriarchy works because we don't understand how it works. Like when men say we live in a matriarchy, like when people say like, oh, like, you know, they'll explain capitalism and then call it communism. I'm like, they don't know. And because they won't learn, and because they won't deconstruct, and because they won't educate themselves because it's too scary, they go right to, no, I don't believe you. So this is the other side of this. Like when you say like get off social media, you basically are saying don't educate yourself. Because that real life world that you want to go back to has bullying, has harassment, has stalking, has racism. I mean, you didn't need TikTok to enslave communities. Before there was TikTok, we still had patriarchy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is so significant about the internet that you think it is worse or any different than any other system you have to fight off the internet? Except to say that these same systems that you are so convinced are keeping us on the internet, actually, we use these systems to stay in touch with each other and come together and rally and meet together. You know what I mean? So it just feels like a little bit weird to me, I suppose. It feels like she's saying, don't pay your taxes. With peace and love, that is only going to work if we all, you know what I mean? That's not going to work. Okay? Like, you can't be like, oh my God. Again, I'm not plant-based because I think it's going to make everyone else plant-based. I'm plant-based because I think it's the right decision. If you think it is the right decision to get off social media, take your channel down right now. Take it down. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying move within your own values first, and then we can talk. I love the internet, and I plan to be here forever. I love it here. I also love my life off the internet, but I love it here. And I think it's a beautiful place with beautiful people. And I think we deserve to utilize technology for the benefit of building those communities and making those friendships and falling in love and doing all of the good, nice things and educating ourselves, right? But yeah, if it's not serving you, find another tool.
Yeah. That is the functionality of the social media platform. So with that in mind, and especially after reading Careless People, their manipulation is deliberate to line their pockets to make money. That's completely unacceptable. And the thing that makes me feel a little bit optimistic about it, I'm not really too tech optimistic in the sense of we are going to find a solution in tech. I do not believe that. But I think what makes it optimistic is they can only find you digitally, you know? So why not reject? Believe that. But I think what makes it optimistic is they can only find you digitally.
They can only find you digitally? What?
You know? So why not reject digital aspects of our life where they can find us, where they can exploit us?
Girly, they can find you anywhere. Yeah, chat says driver's license, taxes, hospitals. Girl, that's what I'm saying. Habibi, where do you live? Is this a flat earther? Does she live like in the Matrix or something? Is she one of those girls who's like, the Matrix is real? I don't think so, right? What are you talking about? You can't live off grid, girl. Like, what do you mean? Even if you did. What are we talking about?
you know? So that's the intention of this video, is to let you guys know what the world is here, and that y'all can wake up and not let them exploit who you are as a human, literally just to make money. That's crazy.
But that's what is human. It is within our nature to exploit one another. Your family is doing it to you right now. Guys, here's a question. You're in a family dynamic where there is a predatory person, and this predatory person hurts a child. And then the people in the family go, is it that big of a deal? I mean, you don't feel that bad about it now, right? You're grown up. You're over it now, right? Well, what did you do? Didn't you egg him on? Didn't you do something? Aren't you Oh, I had kids so they could work on the farm. Exploitation. I had children so they could pay for my retirement. Exploitation. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, girl, you keep telling yourself that, you know what's funny? Is if she already had this off the internet, she wouldn't be making this video. I think if this was her belief, plus she had community offline, why would she make this video? Why would a person who already has these things do this video? So my theory, she doesn't have it. She doesn't have the answer. She's posting the video as a part of her journey to find the answer. And in 5 years, she'll have it. Maybe in 10 years, she'll have it. Who knows? But she doesn't have the answer. But she's making a prescription. This is why I don't make prescriptions. Because I'm saying I don't have the answer, but I feel pretty good about the way I'm doing things. You know? But I don't think she's malicious. I think she's on a journey.
And while we're on the topic, I actually have 2 more notes. Number 1, beware of the grift. It's a trend right now to talk about analog living, to talk about what it's like to abandon social media. And
Oh, so she's self-aware about it. Oh, so now she's saying, but I'm not one of the grifters.
all of that content is literally just the same principle I talked about before of adding content to a digital landfill. You know, the only solution has to be rooted within action. It's not going to exist right here. You know, I'm just here to
So let's see if she abandons her whole channel, I guess.
spread this information to you all. But the real truth, the real solution, the real freedom is when you take that information and pull it out into your lived reality, the plane that I'm physically in right now. Okay. Number 1, beware of the grift.
If I call my friend on the phone, am I not in a real reality? She just gave out her email in this video and said, email me. Is that more real than this? Do you know what I'm saying? How is email or talking on the phone that much different? You know what I mean?
Another thing in my personal testimony, this has been a 5-year long process for me.
Oof.
And maybe this is worthy of more videos, but it's sparked by kind of a meltdown.
What?
This has been a 5-year long process for me. And maybe this is worthy of more videos, but it's sparked by
Maybe this is worthy of more videos? You mean to make more videos to put on social media?
kind of a meltdown triggered by Instagram 5 years ago in 2020. Who wasn't having a meltdown in 2020? And my appreciation for tech criticism and social media criticism.
Actually, I did have a meltdown, but not in 2020 and not because of COVID, but because I literally got sick and so technically I did have a bit of a breakdown over the fact that I wasn't going to have kids anymore. Actually, good times.
Has grown from that and thus leading me here. I'm only on Instagram for business purposes because I DJ. And that's been
Oh, so you are on Instagram for business purposes. So if it's for business and social media, then it's okay. I love her. She's so sweet. I know she's just the most lovable. If she was my sister, I'd be like, I love you. This is a stupid video. Take it down. What do you mean? You just made this whole fucking 40-minute video about how we need to get offline. And then you said, I do have an Instagram for work. What do you think we're doing here? I'm working.
so helpful. I'm only on TikTok because I personally love TikTok.
What?
I'm on there for like 30 minutes a day, 15, 30 minutes a day, and that's helped. I'm not wasting
So I guess we're not abandoning ship. What? What?
TikTok. I've been on there for like 30 minutes a day, DJ. And that's been so helpful. I'm only on TikTok because I personally love TikTok. I've been on there for like 30 minutes a day, 15, 30.
Why did she say abandon ship? Yeah, chat. Why didn't she just say moderation? This whole video was about abandoning ship. Why didn't she just say She's funny. Is she? Does she make me just watch a 40-minute video so she could get paid? She is the ultimate grifter. She's funny. This is funny.
In today, and that's helped. I'm not wasting time on these places. Eventually I want to get to a place of full abandonment, but I'm not there yet. It's a long process. So I say that same thing for you, all.
Oh, okay. So she's working towards full abandonment. Okay, so she's getting, I got you. I got it. Okay.
Watching, it is a process. It's not something that you can just make your winter arc to become a better person.
I feel like she probably should have started with that premise. You know, I would have been a lot more my reaction would have been different. You know, sometimes I feel bad about my reactions and I say, no. You should have made your content different because you set me up to react this way. If you had started with that, our reaction the whole time would have been so different.
In 2026 or beyond, it's not going to take 2 months. You know, it is a very deliberate practice, and with the knowledge of knowing how much they exploit you, I feel like that should give you the patience to be like, hey, you know, it's going to be a process, but knowing that in my mind I will be a more free person, a more secure person, I'm a more person who's in alignment with their goals. All in all, what I'm saying is I'm not trying to be on a high horse here. Like, we got this, y'all. We all have been exploited by these systems, and we also all have the power to leave them behind to live better lives. So we are literally in this together. I'm not trying to preach. I just want that to be known.
This is why I posted this on.
I mean, I don't think she's wrong. I just think the system isn't social media. The system is patriarchy and capitalism. The system is exploitation. The system is our participation in it. The world is a reflection of us as a whole. Yes, but I don't think us as a whole getting off social media is going to fix a world that prior to social media already sucked. So
YouTube as well. My other hope is to help others find their way out before This is why I posted this on YouTube as well. My other hope is to help others find their way out before it becomes a question of privilege. Because according to my theory, if only the wealthy can afford to be offline, then the rest of us will be trapped in a caste system that we did not consent to, yet we're addicted to, and potentially won't be able to move ourselves out of. We can still build places rooted in clarity and care and connection. I just think that exists in real life. We can still build places that are transformative and more transformative than performative. If we don't imagine something better and abandon this space, a future will be built for us digitally, completely without our consent, against our interests, and against our human nature. That is a digital pollution theory, you guys. I fall for many of these harmful things myself. Y'all, it's all love. Like, I have suffered so much from overconsumption and rage bait and addiction. You know, social media has been in my life since I was 11 years old. Let's stop this cycle together. If you made this...
Is she my age? I feel like we might be the same age, actually. Because the internet's been in my life. The internet's been in my life since I was like 11 or 12. But not social media, obviously. Like, social media didn't, not the social media we know today. But I want to know how old she is.
Thank you guys for listening. I hope that you join me in stopping the cycle together. Reduce your screen time. Don't engage in your real life community.
See, she's making a prescription.
Hug the people next to you, if they will allow you to, because they're probably scrolling on TikTok.
Yeah, she's trying to get control in her life and make sense of it, but I don't think this is the answer. Yeah, I don't think this is the answer, but I appreciate her attempt to find the solution. Okay, let me see. Let me reset the video. Give me a second. Okay, so let's see. We're at 73,000 views. Almost 10K likes. Top comment, do not feed the trolls. Used to be the first rule of the internet in the 1990s. The irony of me finding this gem of a video because I am chronically online. This aligns with an older study that found that lower income families did more gaming and online activities compared to higher incomes, being out, taking vacations, events, and gatherings. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I could see that. But also, you know, well, I think this plays into the role of responsibilities as well. Like, richer and wealthier people might also be doing these activities, but are they fully present in the moment? Is your dad actually there, or is he thinking about work? Are your family there because they want to be with you, or are they networking with other business clients? Like, are they taking you to family events, or are these work events? So, like, again, there's so much to be said here. Okay, let's see. I think there's something to be said. I think there's something there, but I would want to talk about it more, you know? Let's see, I think we should start talking about chronic comments, reading online Reading online, which leads to changing opinion and views. I'm not sure what that means. Building community has become increasingly difficult because many hardworking people are trapped in a cycle of survival mode where the constant pressure of financial strife and personal stress transforms into defensive, mean-spirited exterior. This collective exhaustion has made people prickly and on edge, causing them to view social interaction as a burden rather than a relief, and leading to the lonely paradox where those who need support the most are often too angry or overwhelmed to engage with others. Well, again, I think this goes back to this idea of like, guys, if I really believe if social media didn't happen, we would still be in a loneliness epidemic. I really believe we were already in one and nobody was talking about it. We were just silently alone. It's just now social media is making us aware. Did you ever like live in a neighborhood where you thought all the families are so nice and there's no dysfunction? And then you started to see that we started to talk about it more. Like, I don't know if people understand the millennials were the first generation to get on the internet and be like, my dad's a pedophile. My uncle did this. My mom did this. Actually, I'm gay. Like, we were the first group of people that are like, my dad hit me. Like, we came out and we put it to the internet and we said, we're going to talk about it. My dad doesn't actually go to church. My dad owes taxes. My dad's in prison. Like, we actually got on the internet and started like exposing our families. Like, actually, this is what's happening. And then everyone started realizing like, oh, I think we might all be fucked up. When I was growing up, my mom would be like, shh, we're not like other dysfunctional families. Our family's great. Our family was fucked up. And then I used to believe it too. I bought into the propaganda too, where I was like, yeah, our family's great and everyone else's family's fucked up. And then I was like, wait, why are we fucked up? We're so fucked up. It feels like that meme of like graduating to the big kids table to learn the meme about like the lore about your family and realizing like, uh-oh, I think my family might be the villain family. I think my family might be fucked up. Like, look, I don't really believe in bad guy, good guys in that binary sense. But like, we're fucked up. Humanity's fucked up. You can't keep running away from humanity because you're just running away from yourself. You have to face humanity face on, head on so you can face yourself head on. You can't keep running away. It never works. Red Song, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, thank you for this lovely community I found by not logging off by complete accident. Here's to the next new year with the girlies. Let's go, girls. Thank you for that. So again, I think what this ends up being is a running away. This is, I'm building a camper van and I'm living off grid. This is the camp in the woods, the camper in the woods. I get it. I used to think if I would get off, if I would just move somewhere, I could afford a home. If the home I wanted was a tiny home. Oh my God, do you remember that? Do you remember the tiny home craze? You can't afford a real size home? Don't worry, get a tiny home. I'm a homeowner. I own a tiny home. Girl, nobody want to live in a tiny home. Okay, tiny homes are cute. They're very trendy and cute. But literally, if you've ever been in one, girl, I am not doing that forever. Okay, it's so cute, but no thank you. Okay, and I get it, like a home that is tinier than the average, sure. A tiny home, it is so cute. But let's be so fucking realistic. Like, it is very inconvenient to live in a tiny home. Most of the tiny home creators that I followed over the years, they end up like realizing like, oh my God, the bed to the loft, I'm old, climbing up the ladder. It feels like desperate. Again, my partner and I have a rule. We are not going to get it just to get it. We're going to get it because it works and we want it. We're not going to settle for a home the way we're not going to settle for a relationship. I told my partner, I am not going to buy a home just to say we're a homeowner. I'm not doing it because that's what I keep seeing people do time and time again. Let's just buy it so we can get it over with. Let's just get it so we can buy a house. Let's just get it. It's like, no. Yes, and then if you have a tiny home, you have to have the land. Exactly. So then if you have a tiny home, you still have to have the land. So again, we are running away. We keep running away. And it's what everyone keeps doing forever. And I'm saying stop running away, have the hard conversations, and let's heal. But also, I don't hold on to the attachment that will happen, because how can that happen in a world that is so convinced that running away feels like a better idea? I get it. Running away seems like a really good idea. I've done it a lot in my life. But man, I was tired of doing it. And it was either run away and to the point where you're going to kill yourself or stop running. And so I stopped running and my life is wonderful and I love the internet. I'm going to sneeze. Oh my God. I understand that you want a backyard with chickens and you want freedom and you want to have the lifestyle that signals that. But nothing is more free than being free of spirit. I'm like, what am I, my mom? Nothing is more free than being philosophically free, bro. When you find your place in the universe, you leave survival mode into living mode, but you still gotta pay your bills. Survival mode isn't the responsibility of paying your bills. Survival mode is being paralyzed by the weight of despair because you never feel like you're above water. Okay? Once you leave survival mode into living mode, you still have to clean the pool that you were drowning in earlier. The water is still a part of your reality. You're just not drowning in it anymore, but you still are the caretaker of it. Your life is the water, guys. You're drowning in your own life. And I'm saying one day you won't be drowning in your own life if you do the philosophical work and go to therapy. You know, figure out what's happening with your brain, figure out what's happening with your body, and figure out what's happening with your spirit. And when all three are aligned, nope, that's the Illuminati sign. When all three are aligned, it all comes together. I almost made the Beyonce Illuminati sign. Whoops.